stories that matter
and the people behind them.
You're plugged into
Your Story on 947 Drive with Thando.
I don't think there would be a better Your Story guest to fit where we are.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes in life, some people inspire you like through their achievements, but others inspire you through how they rise after life knocks them down. My guest today has turned a heartbreak into purpose, grief into strength, and her personal journey into a source of hope for thousands of South Africans. Author, entrepreneur, speaker, endurance athlete, ladies and gentlemen, Letshego Zulu.
It's all the stories that matter
And the people behind them.
You're plugged into
Your Story on 947 Drive with Thando.
I started with the part of the story that we all know. I wanted to take everyone on a journey with me. I tell it in a very conversational way, as if we're sitting in my living room and I'm literally taking you step by step in terms of what happened that evening. Yes, people don't understand the grieving process, especially when they personally have not gone through it.
Hi, this is Letshego Zulu. Catch me live on 947 Drive with Thando for Your Story.
It's all the stories that matter
And the people behind them.
You're plugged into
Your Story on 947 Drive with Thando.
And she joins us live now. Letshego, welcome. So good to see you.
Hello, Thando.
I feel like it's been years.
It has been.
I think I worked at 5FM when we
Yep.
When we were working together.
We were working
Yeah.
together the first time I met her and you were interviewing you.
And I remember what a difficult time that was for you. I remember reading your book from literally cover to cover. And you say Lelis was 11 now.
She's turning 11 in 2 weeks' time.
A grown woman. She needs to get a
Literally,
job
my
now.
housemate.
Like, how's it been mothering for the last couple of years?
Oh my gosh, motherhood is tough. It's
Yeah.
a challenge. If anyone tells you out there that it's roses and sunshine, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
It's challenging. You know, these little people nowadays test us as parents. Back then when I was growing up, I mean, I'm an 80s kid.
Yeah.
Children were seen, not heard.
Exactly.
And now children are heard.
What is she saying?
No, she questions everything. I make a decision. I said to her, bedtime is 8 o'clock. But Mom, I'm sure I can have another hour, you know?
Yeah.
It's a negotiation.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is a negotiation.
Wow. Okay. And it's been, I mean, all these years, and I have to ask. When I think we last spoke, she was baby at the time.
Yeah.
So when you had the conversation with her about dad, what was the conversation?
So the conversation happened in stages, right? He passed away when I think it was about 3 weeks after her first birthday.
Yeah.
So it's been 10 years since he's been gone. And she started asking about dad at about the age of 4 or 5, somewhere there. But it was easy things, you know. I mean, obviously she would see her friends at preschool with moms and dads. And then randomly one day I remember we were driving to my mom's house and she says to me, Mommy, when are we going to visit Dad? And I had to say to her, sweetheart, we can't visit Dad because Dad is in heaven. And she said, yeah, I'm sure we can go to heaven to go visit him. So, and obviously I had to keep the conversation childlike. I had to, at her level. And I had to tell her that, no, once you go to heaven, you can't come back.
Yeah.
And one day we will be reunited with Dad, but that can't happen right now. And then it was tears, you know. But, progressively over the years, she's understood what happened. More especially around COVID. I think she was about six then. And I used to do a lot of motivational talks from home. So on my laptop, she'd be sitting right next to me because it's lockdown. And she would hear me telling the story. And, she would absorb it. And ask me questions later. But it's been a progressive conversation. And now at the age of 11, she knows exactly what happened. And
How do you do it? Because you've had to retell the story so many times.
So many times, yeah. Sure. I honestly don't know where I get the strength from because I've literally had to retell the story from day one.
About 10 years later.
10 years later, and I continue to tell the story. It obviously started getting easier along the way. Once you start repeating something over and over.
Did you find that there were things you discovered that came to you as you kept telling the story?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I only wrote the book 3 years later. So the book was released in 2019 and he passed in 2016. And I had been telling the story to my close friends over and over. And the story would take me a good 3 hours. But my friends would literally give me that time. So yes, I guess in the 3 years leading up to the eventual release of the book, I had told the story so many times that I knew it like the back of my
We're
hand.
going to have to tell the story again because I don't want to assume that there's people who are listening who perhaps have never heard the story. There's kids who were too young in 2016 to quite absorb or understand or hear it. So with your permission, can we go there?
No, we can.
Okay, we'll talk about, because there's some people saying, what is this story? We'll talk about it next. We're in conversation with the incredible Letshego Zulu. We're in conversation with Letshego Zulu. And I mean, we're talking of air. You've done all the stuff that's like on my bucket list. You're on Survivor in 2011. What was that like?
That is one of the most incredible experiences of my life.
Yeah.
You know, with Survivor, you get stripped of the fancy things in life. A toothpaste and toothbrush are fancy. You literally get stripped of everything. And you just have to learn to survive.
And you made it quite far, runner-up.
I came second.
Crazy.
I just missed out on $1 million.
And then she did Fear Factor as well.
Yep.
The very first season of Fear Factor South Africa.
First season, we were 20 contestants and I was the 4th last contestant.
Wow.
And I was more than grateful to be eliminated when I got eliminated because the next challenge had to do with snakes. And I said, you know what? God loves me.
God was like, she's out of here. Where does that come from? Just that adventure?
Sense of adventure. I've just always been an adventurous child, hey? I've always been an outdoors, always busy. You know, growing up, I was the one running up and down the street with the boys and climbing trees and jumping fences. So I think I've just always been physically active. You know, at school, I was lucky to have a mom who never really said no to sports. So I was that kid that did almost everything under the sun. And mom had to just oblige and buy all the sports equipment.
And when you say everything under the sun, she's done the Comrade, she's done the Two Oceans, the Absa Cape Epic, which you were explaining is an 8-day race.
The toughest multi-stage mountain bike race in the world. Wow. It's basically the Tour de France of mountain biking.
Yeah. And you were the first black woman to ever do it.
Yeah, back in 2013. There were 3 of us. We were that same year, the 3 of us were the first time a black woman took part, and all 3 of us finished.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how you found the love of your life. You speak about how you stalked him for many years because obviously he was famous, right? But you're also on TV technically because weren't you then on Survivor?
No, then I was still in school.
Oh, okay.
We started dating when I was 16.
And how old was he?
He was, I don't know, 20-something. They used to say chicken murder back then.
Okay, so you stalk him on Facebook, I presume?
Yeah, and a friend of mine who happened to be dating one of his friends. Between the 2 of them, they obviously organized the hookup and got his number. And I
mean, you're obviously stalking him at this point because he's a famous race car driver, or what was he anything?
You know, so my friend, so I was in boarding school in the Eastern Cape and with my friend, and her boyfriend at the time was also a racing driver.
Okay.
With my late husband.
Gugu, yes.
And she got to meet him, as in she got to meet Googs before I did.
Yeah.
And she came to boarding school one day and she was like, my friend, I found the perfect man for you.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2000, the year 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you know he was the one?
The charm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just an easy person. He was so open. He was just a loving Like he wore his heart on his sleeve. Yeah.
Did he mac or how did it work? How did was it him that solidified the deal?
It was him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
What
it
did he
was
say?
him. I can't remember, honestly. I mean, this is, Tando, you're having me think back, 26 years now? It's ages ago.
Yeah.
But we kind of, we took about, I think it was 7 months or something, getting to know each other telephonically because I was in Grahamstown and he was in Johannesburg. And we met 7 months later and then sealed the deal.
Okay, can you...
4 ways more. On a date.
Okay. And how did he ask you to marry him?
Tando, you are cracking
You
my
have
mind.
to remember that.
Yes, it was. Jeez, man. It was at the finish line of our first Absa Cape Epic.
Wow.
That was in 2013.
And you guys very much became the adventure couple really for South
Essentially,
Africa, right?
Yeah. He had to take me through the Absa Cape Epic to test whether I'm tough enough to be his wife.
Okay.
So, in 2013, we were both doing our first Absa Cape Epic, the race that we're talking about just now. And but he was doing it with someone else. And halfway through the race, my partner and I were actually ahead of him and his partner.
Oh, wow.
And he had to have the conversation with my partner to say, I need you guys to slow down.
Yes.
Especially on the last day because I've got something planned.
Okay.
And that's what my partner did.
Wow.
He was super slow at the water points and everything. And on the very last day, he got to the finish line before me. And as I was approaching the finish line, There he was on one knee.
And like I said, you then became South Africa's adventure couple. And I don't think we had seen black people particularly in that adventure space in the way that you guys did it. We'll speak about life with Googs next. We are coming to you live from Cape Union Mart because we are out here. We're living outside. And somebody who has done that pretty much all her life is our Your Story guest, Letshego Zulu. And it was on the 18th of July, 2016 would have been the day that Cooks would have passed away.
Yeah.
But when did you guys decide you were going to take part in Trek for Mandela Climb to Kilimanjaro?
We had been wanting to climb Kilimanjaro for years. But, the type of people that we were like, we want to have a why. We want to have a reason to go do it.
Yeah.
So we searched for a reason for a good couple of years until Googs and I met Ntate Lohatang on a hike one Saturday morning. And he told us about caring for girls, which is the management or the where they collect sanitary towels for school going girls, and that was our why. And Lele too had been born already because she was born in 2015, and for Googs, I remember him saying to me, I would hate for one day our daughter not to have access to sanitary towels.
Yeah.
So let's go climb this mountain so that we can change some other girl's life.
And you guys went, over to Kilimanjaro. And what were the spirits? I imagine excited. This is something you had been planning for years.
Absolutely.
And then what happens?
Gosh, so before we even left, I remember Googs had postnasal drip, right? The sniffles and it's kind of a normal thing in winter because, we climb in July. And, before we left, he had postnasal drip. I said to him, go see the doctor, get what you need. On the plane to Kilimanjaro, he was he wasn't himself. Googs he was a bubbly person. He was full of energy for those that have met him. But he wasn't himself. He was sleepy. He was lethargic. And every single day on the climb, I kept on saying to him, go speak to the doctor, because we're climbing with a doctor. I'm not a doctor, so please.
And how long is the
with
climb?
The doctor. The climb is 6 days, I think.
Okay.
And we get there 2 days before. And pretty much from the start, I said to him, speak to the doctor, speak to the doctor. I kept on pushing him to the doctor because I'm not about to, become a doctor overnight. And he just progressively got slower. And, I kept on saying to him, well, it's not a race anyway.
Yes.
For those that have climbed Kili, they know the saying, pole pole, which means slow, slow. If it takes you forever, like we hike for 8 hours, but the pace at which we walk is the pace of a toddler learning how to walk. That's how slow you're walking. So we didn't think that, there's any danger. in him continuing with the hike, because we weren't running up the mountain. You know, we weren't exhausting ourselves. But things changed.
On which day do things change?
Things changed on the fourth day. Between the fourth and the fifth day, I remember because we were fitter, and we're also part of a very big group. I think we were 42 climbers. So we were divided into two groups. The slower people would leave about an hour before us. And because we're fitter, I mean, we are mountain bikers, runners, and so on, we would always start with the faster group.
Okay.
And I remember on the morning of that fifth day, he said to me, the night before actually, he said to me, I'm going to walk with the first group tomorrow. And I said to him, but you're fit. Like, what do you mean you're walking with the first group? We came to this mountain together, so we need to climb this mountain together. I'm not waking up an hour earlier. You know, I need my beauty sleep. I need my beauty sleep.
Yeah.
And that sleep will be good for you, you know, for recovery. And he stood his ground, and I stood my ground, and unfortunately, he walked with that first group.
Were you upset when
I
you
was.
made that decision? So, like,
I went to bed in tears.
Yeah.
And you know, we were sharing. So how the huts are on Kilimanjaro is you'll have like 6 people on bunk beds, so 3 bunk beds in a room, and I remember, you know, me and him were on the top bunks that were kind of like next to each other.
Yeah.
Connected. So my head is here and his head is there. And so he listened to me crying the whole night.
Sure.
And I think it was my subconscious that kind of knew that something is not right. I thought my tears would change his mind, but the following morning he woke up an hour earlier, and he went to breakfast, and just before they left, he came with my little bowl of water, because you don't shower when you you get a little bowl of water to just splash your face and, you know, freshen up a bit. And he brought my bowl of water and basically came to kiss me, not goodbye, because it wasn't goodbye at that point.
It was like, I'm leaving now.
I'm leaving now. Yeah. Cheers. And that hike on that 6th day was the worst hike ever. I couldn't chat to anybody. I felt something had been ripped out from my chest.
Yeah.
And you know, I put my earphones on, and I had earphones on the entire day, just listening to music. I couldn't talk to I couldn't engage with anybody. A part of me was gone.
And this was just on the basis that he's now with the
He's gone. He's an hour ahead of me.
Okay. But eventually you catch up.
Eventually, no, we didn't catch up. We got to the next. He obviously got to the next camp,
Yes.
and we caught up to the next camp, and that was at about 3-4 in the afternoon. Things changed for the worst at about 9 p.m. He obviously was not well. The doctor put up a drip on him to kind of, you know, like that
IV drip.
That IV drip,
Yeah.
vitamin B
Yeah.
shot or
Some
whatever.
that make us look pretty or whatever.
I forget what they call it, to energize
Yeah.
him. But instead it was doing the complete opposite. And I remember, so what happens on the night before you summit, because this was that night now, is that everyone kind of goes down for a nap at about 8 p.m. And then you wake up at like 2 hours later to start getting ready for the summit, because you start climbing at about 11 p.m.
Okay.
So at 8 o'clock, when people were going down for a nap, I literally sat there and I was watching this man. Because I was like, something's not right. And I mean, I share all of that in the book.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting there in the dark watching him sleep. And something in me had said, prepare yourself for the journey ahead. I didn't know what the journey ahead is. So I already started putting on the double layers, the double socks, the double pants, and the whole point behind that was when he wakes up, when everybody wakes up, at least I'll be half dressed and I'll be able to help him get dressed so that we can go summit
together.
And I don't want to retell the story in the book, because I take everybody on this journey, but the inevitable horrendous turn of events happened at about 9 p.m.
Yeah.
when the call was then made that we need to descend the mountain.
Based on what his health
On
looked
his
like
condition
Yeah.
at that time. cut a long story short, it was an 8-hour treacherous journey right through the night.
I want us to talk about that downhill, that 8-hour downhill where you had to walk with your unconscious husband. We'll talk about it. We are in conversation with Letshego Zulu. Of course, she is a South African author, entrepreneur, speaker, and an incredible endurance athlete. And we're just talking about the summit she did with her now late husband, Googs, in Kilimanjaro. And so on this, what you said, 4th day, his health starts to decline, and then the call was made that he's not going to continue up, that in fact you have to descend.
Yeah.
And he's unconscious at this point.
He's unconscious. He's on a stretcher.
But how did we go from the drip to unconscious?
You know, I learned later, obviously a couple of months later, that if there's one thing that shouldn't be done at high altitude is administering of a drip. So, cut a long story short, that drip, the liquid, led to him drowning. Yeah.
Did you blame the doctor?
I chose not to, because I would have to live with that for the rest of my life. She knows what happened. And I left it up to that. Because I can't bring him back.
Yeah.
And putting blame on someone's just going to sit with you.
Yeah.
So I just said to myself, everything happens for a reason.
But what is the reason? Because
I've got no idea.
Yeah, because
I've got no
I feel like we say that, right?
Yeah.
And we mean it and we want to mean it. And we're like, yes, of course, God has a purpose for our lives. And there's a direction in which things are supposed to go. And everything happens for a reason. So 10 years later, you still don't know the reason?
I'm not searching for the reason.
Okay.
Maybe one day when I go up to heaven, God will tell me what happened.
Yeah.
You know? I have to, Googs would want me to continue living life.
Yes.
So for me, dwelling on that would have prevented me from living life. I had a 1-year-old when he passed away. I needed to bring her up. She's turning 11 this year.
And you did that. So round of applause, Letshego.
Thank you.
That's not a small feat. That's incredible. But you spent then 8 hours descending. He's unconscious. You're running alongside him. What's running in your mind?
I'm praying. I'm WhatsApping the family. I'm tripping and falling. I'm doing everything else but connecting with him, because I knew that his health was deteriorating fast. I think my subconscious or something within me told me to just disconnect. I was obviously praying for a better outcome. I was bargaining with God. I was like, even if he's in a coma by the time we get to the bottom, that's better than anything else. I was trying not to connect with what could happen.
And at which point do they then tell you that he hasn't made
When we got to hospital. So we made it to the hospital.
Sorry, just to go a bit backwards. Who helped carry him down?
We have porters.
Okay.
Yeah. The guys that typically carry our
Your
big
bags.
Cape Union Mart bags up the mountain, they're the ones that carried him now down the mountain.
So you get to the hospital, and was he still alive?
I don't think so. 8 hours, unconscious, not breathing, I think. Like I said, I disconnected myself from that. I remember shortly after we started the descent, I went and I checked his pulse. So I've got a bit of a medical background, so I was able to check his pulse, and I was like, something is not right. I felt no pulse here. And then when I went to
his wrist,
I then saw his Fitbit. He had a Fitbit back then.
Yes.
And I remember checking his heart rate on there, and it was something ridiculous, like 160 something. And I know that at rest, for a fit person,
you can't be at
your heart rate
160.
should be between 50 and 60
Yeah.
because we are fit.
Yeah.
So when I saw 160 something, I can't remember the exact number, I knew something wasn't right.
Okay, so you get to the hospital and they confirm.
They kept me out. They obviously tried to resuscitate and so on. And then the doctors came out, put me in a room and started asking me questions about what happened and so on. And ultimately, at the end of that conversation with them, they then broke the news to me.
Were you ever blamed?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. I mean, and by that I mean, like, were there any people who were like, because people look for, when someone passes, other than the actual reason of the death, you look for other reasons that could have contributed. I don't know if it's pain that maybe brings out that ugliness sometimes in people.
My experience was completely different. I think a lot of people respected me and respected the entire situation.
Yeah.
I never had anybody pointing fingers directly at me.
Yeah.
If they did, then they did that
Behind your
closed
back.
doors. Yeah, and behind my back.
Well, we've got Renee Lue on the line. Renee Lue, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Tando.
Sorry, Remy Fule, talk to us.
No problem. I just wanted to give Letshego flowers, Tando. I think, she's such a phenomenal trailblazer for many of us. She's inspired and motivated us in every sense of the words. And through her journey, she's really broken down barriers and also created pathways for individuals like myself. When we doubt ourselves, when we think we do not belong or we do not deserve, she's always there to give us a nudge that no, you own that space. So I always say she has walked so that we can run. So this is just to say thank you also, Arona, for being the phenomenal woman that you are. To many of us, you're more than the athlete, the author, the entrepreneur, the leader. You're really a sister that's always willing to listen to our crazy ideas and adventure. So yeah, we see you, we appreciate you, we celebrate you.
Lovely. Remo Filo, thank you so much. You want to respond to that?
I know Remo.
Yeah, I can hear you guys know each other. So how do you know each other?
Remo and I come a very long way. She's a fellow mountain bike sister.
Yeah.
We actually tackled this year's Epic together.
Oh, wow.
So she's at that level, and I love her to bits.
I want to talk also about just endurance racing, because it's more than physical.
Yeah.
It's in the mind.
It is.
And how that's healed you.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, and we'll also play your Vava's J track just after 5. 5 o'clock, we are in conversation with Letshego Zulu on your story. It's been many years. It's been like, it's been 10 years. Are we seeing someone now?
Yo, straight at it, eh?
She's not beating around the bush,
I
eh?
think when you're done answering, ask her in reverse.
That's his favorite subject. Are you?
Well, I'm young.
Of course, and you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm living life. That's my answer.
Sounds like a yes to me.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a yes to
No
me.
applications shall be accepted.
Oh,
okay.
The applications are closed. Okay. We are going back to the year 2005. It's Letsego's Vava's J track. Where were you when DJ Jazzy D released a song? It became one of the standout South African house songs of the mid-2000s. It blends uplifting house rhythms with soulful vocals, making it a favorite on the radio stations, in clubs, and township parties. What else can I tell you about him? He's considered one of the, of course, pioneers of South African dance music. His work helped bridge the gap between classic house sounds and the new generation of local dance music. It's Letsego's selection, so can you guess what the song is?
Yeah, I'm assuming Jazzy D, I think his biggest song, was it not that,
Look at you, you're so cultured. It is. Letsego, where does this song take you to?
It takes me back to TUT.
Okay.
It takes me back to varsity.
Yeah.
It takes me back to when my friends and I on a Friday night,
Yes.
we would walk to Barcelos to go and get some shots.
Love it. When you were living
life.
living life as you should. It's today's Vava's J track. Ladies, so today's Vava's J track as selected by Letshego. There's something about endurance, I think, that I was saying is not just about fitness or about running.
Yeah.
It's about being mentally switched on.
Absolutely.
Or going a certain place when you do these endurance races. Where do you go?
Because I always have a reason why I'm doing something, especially with my mountain biking. I always think back to my why, my daughter's a dancer. Leletu, she's an acrobat and a ballerina. But, this little girl has watched me all her life riding bikes, and she loves riding too.
Yeah.
And she's always like, "Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be just like you."
Aww.
You know. So that's my why.
Yeah.
That's one of my whys.
Yeah.
Even when I'm out there in the beautiful nature, guys, our country's beautiful here, and I get to see our country on those two wheels. Nothing beats getting on a mountain bike trail because you get a completely different view to what you would if you're on the N1 in a car. You know, we've got such a beautiful country.
I saw you just a couple of years after Googs had passed, and there was a sense of just resilience about you. There was a sense of always seeing the glass half full instead of half empty. And many years later, I still see that. What keeps you going?
Oh my gosh.
Other than your daughter.
Yeah, there's life to be lived.
Love that.
There's life to be lived. You know, I could have made the choice to be stuck in a dark hole, to be stuck in that grieving darkness, if I may put it that way. I mean, I remember how a month after he passed away and a month of wearing black clothes, I decided to take them off. Because I thought to myself, it's dampening my life and my spirit and everything. And I said, Googs would want me to live life.
Yeah.
For those that knew him, they knew that he was a bright, energetic person. And I started wearing color. I started getting out there. And I know that he would want me to live life. And that's why I'm living life.
I'm so happy to see you living life, and I'm so happy to see you happy. Your story continues to inspire others. And I'm sorry that you have to tell it so many times, but I think there's always one more person that needs to hear
and
it.
that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I continue to do motivational talks, because if I can inspire just one person on a daily basis to pick up their life and keep moving and jump over that obstacle that's in front of you, then my job is done.
Congratulations on choosing to live.
Thank you.
You are an absolute inspiration. Your strength keeps us going. And we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Letshego Zulu!
It's all the stories that matter.
And the people behind them.
From the big moments
To the day-to-day grind.
we're delving deep into your story.
Story.
On 947 Drive
With Tando.